Today we're going to talk about the importance of learning how to say no. Welcome to How to Build a Tent, the podcast on how to make you successful. My name is Matt Williams. Thank you for listening to the show, sharing the show, tagging a friend, subbing on YouTube. All those things, I really appreciate it. We're part of the Fight Laugh Feast Network. Go over to flfnetwork.com, become a member. We are going to be taking a break. This is my last show for a little bit. My baby girl's going to be born soon, and we just want to spend time with the family and devote my recording time and all that stuff to them, and just focusing on my family. You know, priorities are important, as I've talked about on the show, and I'm going to practice what I preach in this case. Like I don't do it I try to do it in all cases, but you know, even though you know what to do sometimes, you don't always do it, and I am no different or an exception to that rule whatsoever. If you have any questions, comments, you can email me, matt@howtobuildatent.com. Find me on all the social media sites, How to Build a Tent. Although I might not be responding to you as quickly because I'm going to be sleep deprived and busy and so on and so forth, but I'd still love to hear from you guys and see what's going on. Oh man, there's so much to go on and so much to talk about. I was trying to think about what I wanted to talk about before the last show before the break. And I guess this is as good a topic as any because it is really important, especially as you become more successful, as you grow in notoriety and people start to realize your skills and you start developing skills and you become more valuable. And so people will constantly want your time, constantly want your skills, they want your abilities, they want the value, and oftentimes they'll ask you to do it for free, and you need to learn how to say no. I brought this up because I was talking back and forth with Karen Swalwell Prior, who, by the way, I love going back and forth with her. She's very smart, even though sometimes I think she plays dumb. I think she's a really intelligent woman, and I love seeing her side of things. And so on this tweet, she has this story about her husband in her workplace. And this isn't about her and our back and forth. If you want to go see that, you can. But I just want to talk about the actual story and what we need to do as men. Because this story and the response to it by her and other people on the Twitter world as well is why we have effeminate men, quite honestly, is we give people the woe is me, feel sorry for me kind of attitude. And that's not what we need as men. That is not what's going to help us as men. And so we just need to really step it up. And I'm specifically talking to men because that's what this story is about. So let me read the story from Karen on her Twitter. You can find it. She says, my husband told me today about a guy who works with who he works with, who has specialized skills that everyone wants to borrow, quote unquote, for free. The man says he walks around his workplace with his head down, trying not to make eye contact because when people see him, they see only what he can do for them. This makes me so sad. I tweeted about this before, but we need to think about which skills and services we think we should ask others to give us for free and which we should never think to do so and treat people equally. And most of all, we need to see people not for what they can do for us, but as people whose time and skills deserve respect. Okay. First off, everyone deserves respect. No, I don't think it is wrong to ask people for favors, but you need to understand, as someone who's asking for favors from somebody in the workplace, in your church community, in your family, wherever it is, that you're taking credit out of the pot of the relationship. When you do something for other people, when you do something for another person, you put credit in, you put chips in. Not that you're necessarily in this relationship of you owe me, I owe you kind of a thing. But the more value you provide in the relationship, the better the relationship's going to be if it's equal and mutual, right? My neighbor helps me do projects. He helps me do his projects. Or did I say that right? I help him with projects. He helps me with projects is what I was trying to say. And it's good. I can ask him for help. He can ask me for help because we work together. We work together on things and we try to help each other out. We give each other advice. And the relationship is mutual. So I can ask him for things without him hanging his head in shame and trying to avoid me because I help him, he helps me, and we don't over abuse that relationship. So that is true to that point of what he was saying. Now, I don't understand what she's saying about what we need to think about, which skills and services we think we should ask others to give us for free. I mean, it depends on your relationship, guys. And again, free is a relative term. Like, are you reciprocating in any way? Or are you just taking? And in that case, you shouldn't. But I want to focus specifically on this person because you see, she sets this up as something we should pity and feel sorry for. Like, oh my gosh, what abuse this man is taking because people are asking him to do things for them. And I go through this whole Twitter thread with her going back and forth thinking that it was things relating to work. And then at the end, apparently it seems like, well, maybe it's things outside of work. And it's just skills that he has and they're using him to do things outside of work, which if it's part of work, well, you're getting paid for it and you're getting paid in a position where you have that many skills, most likely salary, where you're getting paid to provide value to the company you work for, regardless of what it is specifically. If your job role is X and someone asks you to do Y because you're really good at Y, well, then you should do it because one, you're getting paid to provide value, and that's going to be a way for you to get promoted, ask for raises, and have more job security than somebody who only sticks in their lane. So there's many reasons to do it. But there are things that you say no to. And this isn't only applicable to this situation where people ask them for favors or ask them to do things for free. And we're going to talk about it in a second. But first, I want to take a break talking about Kingsman Grooming Products. Go over to KingsmanGroomingPros.com. It's so amazing. They have beard products, oil products. A beard balm, beard oils, pre-shave, aftershave. They got tons of stuff. Every single I'm not even kidding. I'm not lying. This isn't paid. This is me, Matt, telling you that every single person that has reached out to me and said that they've tried these products are never going back to any other products. That's how good they are. They have simple ingredients that work wonderfully. I'm never going back myself. It's phenomenal. You have to go check them out. KingsmanGroomingPros.com. Put in HTBT, get a discount, and support a Christian company. And just try them out. You're going to be doing yourself a favor. Go over to KingsmanGroomingPros.com. Okay, back to the show. So we need to learn how to say no, not just in these cases where people ask us for things, but you need to learn how to say no in managing emails. Sometimes people are going to want your attention, want your response. They're going to CC you. They're going to send you a direct message. And the higher you get in your career, the more successful you become, the more businesses, the more organizations you're part of, you're not going to be able to read or answer all of those emails. And so you need to be able to say no, quote unquote, to the emails that you're going to spend your time on. And you really need to develop this skill. And you need to understand that saying no is not a value judgment on the person you're telling no to. It's not a disrespectful thing. It's you prioritizing your time for what is important and what you need to spend your time and resources on. And just like what I'm doing, I'm saying no to doing a podcast going forward for a certain amount of time because I don't have that time to spend the time I need to on my family. So I'm saying no to you guys in a lot of respects. And I don't feel bad about it at all. I love it. I love the show. I love that you guys found value in this. But I know that God has called me to be a father, to be a husband, and a leader in my household. And so I need to prioritize that over you guys. No offense. I don't hate you guys. I have no animosity towards you guys. It has nothing to do with you, but it has to do with my limited resources and the priorities God has given me in life. And that same mindset should be with you in your job functions, in your emails, in your responses, into your extracurricular activities, in your church, in your ministry. You can't be all things to all people. And with that being true, you need to learn how to turn people away and say no. And there is so much freedom in that. And this is something, I'm serious, like one of the big things that one of my professors back in my master's program, he was an executive coach. So he was coaching CEOs, COOs, CFOs maybe sometimes, but mainly CEOs and COOs. And one of the biggest things he had to teach him was to say no. Because obviously there is something to be said about someone who's willing to help, somebody who is willing to dive in, to provide value, go above and beyond. These are characteristics we like. But what happens is this weird mutation of what this guy happened. When you can't say no, there's a few things that happen here. One, you become weird. When you hang your head down as a guy and don't make eye contact because of what people are asking of you, that's weird. And you need to man up And you need to be able to confront people, not being mean about it, not being unloving about it, but simply saying, hey, I just don't have time to do that. I'm sorry. The simplicity of that and the ease of it should not be intimidating for anybody. But what happens is we find so much, worth. We find so much validation in being the yes man to people and what people think of us, that's when that simple sentence of no, I'm sorry, I don't have time becomes so difficult. Because what if they think poorly about me? What if people don't like me because I can't help them? What if people talk about me behind their back? Do you notice that in the Bible, God never talks about and worry and tells you to be concerned about how people think about you? Like, I can't think of any, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. God has told us to worry about being loving and preaching the gospel and doing what he wants us to do and being obedient to his commandments. But the response of other people in doing that is none of our business. It's none of our business. We need to be faithful to God. We need to love the people God has called us to love, to be obedient to what he's been obedient to. And how people interact with that is their own business. Now, I'm not saying that you should never think about some other people. You shouldn't think about their feelings. I'm not saying that at all. But if you are doing the right thing that God wants you to do and someone's upset or offended by it, who cares, guys? Who cares? And those kinds of misallocation of your resources, but what I'm trying to say is your priorities are out of line. You're allocating your priorities in the wrong way. You get weird things like this. And so if you are somebody like this man who hangs his head in shame, doesn't want to make eye contact, has no relationships with people because people use him, I tell you to man up and say no to these people so then you can look people in the eyes and not be scared of them, not be scared of interactions, and build relationships with people. You are not going to be a Christian that spreads the gospel, that proclaims the joy of the Lord, proclaims the quality of life that comes from salvation, if you're dodging people all the time. This isn't godly behavior. This is not what God has asked us. And it's not everyone else's fault. It's your fault. You need to lift up your head, man up. And when we give people like this sympathy, it allows for effeminacy. It allows men to cower and to be like the woe is me, like, oh, pity me, I feel so bad. Oh, world, someone take care of me. They want to be coddled like their moms are coddling a little child, like when they were a little child. They want to live in the state where that they can get the motherly love. But when you're a man and you're in your career, that helps nobody, not even yourself. It isolates you from relationships from your coworkers. So when you see this, you need to encourage people to man up and be okay with telling people no. I don't know why it's so hard for some people. I don't get it at all. But you need to be able to do that. And another thing that benefits you from being able to say no is it allows you to focus on your priorities and do and allocate your strengths and your resources to the things that are important in the goals and the objectives, not just for yourself, but your organization, your family, your church, your nonprofits, whatever you're working on. Because when you say yes to these things, you're getting dragged in many different directions. You're not able to spend the amount of time and resources you should be to the things that God has called for you to do in your life. You got to learn to say no. We say no to sin. We need to say no to the things that God has not called us to do. To say no to the things that are distracting us from the vision and the goals that God has given us to do, for what God called us to in our lives. So I think that's as good a topic as any to leave you guys with. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope you guys have a next couple weeks. I pray that you guys would pray for me and pray for my wife as we're going to deliver. Pray that everything goes smoothly, and pray for just all the changes that are going to happen to strength and energy and all that good stuff. I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much for supporting the show and listening. It means the world to me. We'll talk to you next time. God bless.